There is a plant growing in the cracks of your driveway right now that contains a compound modern science has been trying to recreate for decades. Gram for gram, it contains more calcium than milk. It has fed people for thousands of years, saved entire populations from starvation, and it is the original source of one of the most famous foods on Earth. But today, you've been taught to kill it, to spray it, to rip it out, to see it as a problem. This plant is called common mallow. And once you understand what it actually is, you'll never look at your yard the same way again. Mallow has been used as both food and medicine for thousands of years. In ancient texts, it appears as a survival plant, something people turned to when everything else failed, not because it was the only option, but because it worked. In ancient Rome, it was known as omnium morbia, the cure-all. People believed that consuming it regularly protected them from illness, not as a last resort, but as a daily practice. And that tells you something important. This wasn't just a famine food, it was a trusted one, a reliable one, a plant people chose to eat, even when they had other options. But somewhere along the way, we stopped choosing it, and the plant didn't disappear. We just stopped recognizing it. In 1948, during the siege of Jerusalem, food supplies were cut off completely. The city was isolated, no shipments, no restocking. What was left wasn't enough. Starvation became a real possibility, but something unexpected happened. People remembered. They began gathering a plant growing wild throughout the city, in empty lots along roads between damaged buildings. That plant was mallow. They harvested it in massive quantities, turned it into soups, stews, and patties, and for months, an entire city survived on what most people today would call a weed. When the siege ended, researchers expected to find severe malnutrition, deficiencies, disease, long-term damage, but they didn't. The population was relatively healthy, and the reason was simple. Mallow wasn't just food, it was nutrient-dense. It provided minerals that stored grains and processed foods couldn't. Calcium, magnesium, potassium, the kinds of nutrients that prevent breakdown in the body. This is something modern diets often lack, because most of what we eat today is designed for storage, not for nourishment. Mallow is the opposite. It doesn't store well, it doesn't ship well, but what it does is nourish, and that's why it was left behind. What makes mallow different isn't just what it contains, it's how it works. Inside the leaves is a substance called mucilage. If you've ever crushed a mallow leaf, you've probably felt it. That slightly slimy texture, most people instinctively reject it because we've been trained to associate that texture with something being wrong. But inside the body, that slime does something incredible. It coats. When consumed, mucilage forms a protective layer over the lining of the throat, stomach, and intestines. Think of it like a natural barrier, a biological bandage. In a world where digestive issues are increasingly common, acid reflux, inflammation, irritation, this is something most modern foods don't provide. Because we've bred it out. We've selected crops for crunch, sweetness, and shelf life, not for how they interact with the body. Mallow wasn't bred for the shelf, it was shaped by survival, and that shows in how it behaves. This plant doesn't just grow, it adapts. Its leaves track the sun throughout the day, maximizing energy intake. Its root system pushes deep into the soil, pulling up minerals from layers other plants can't reach. It thrives in compacted soil, in poor conditions, in places where other plants struggle. And when it dies, it leaves those minerals behind, improving the soil. This isn't just a plant, it's a system, one that builds, restores, and sustains. So if mallow is this useful, why are we told to destroy it? Because it doesn't fit the system. Mallow is difficult to control. Its roots are strong and regenerative. Cut it, and it grows back. Pull it, and pieces remain, ready to regrow. Its leaves are coated in a waxy layer that resists many herbicides. Spray it, and the chemicals often don't penetrate. From an industrial standpoint, that makes it a problem. It interferes with machinery, competes with crops, resists elimination, and that creates cost. So instead of working with it, the system works against it. Millions are spent trying to remove it from fields, lawns, and managed spaces. Not because it lacks value, but because it has too much independence. And there's another reason. Mallow can't be easily commodified. It doesn't store long-term like processed foods, it doesn't transport cleanly across long distances, and its most valuable property, that mucilage, can't be easily replicated or packaged into a stable product. So instead of integrating it, it was replaced. And yet, even today, it's still here, growing in sidewalks, in driveways, in places no one is taking care of. No fertilizer, no irrigation, no protection, just growing, waiting to be recognized again. The leaves are edible, soft, mild, and nutrient rich. The seeds form small, round discs, often called cheeses, that are surprisingly high in protein and fat. They can be eaten raw right off the plant. The roots and leaves can be soaked in water to create a thick, soothing liquid, something that has been used traditionally to calm the throat, support digestion, and hydrate the body. This isn't a rare plant. It's not hidden deep in the wilderness. It's everywhere. We just stopped seeing it. And maybe that's the real shift, not finding something new, but recognizing what's already here. We are entering a time where stability isn't guaranteed. Food systems are becoming more fragile. Supply chains are unpredictable, and the cost of growing and transporting food continues to rise. But plants like mallow don't depend on those systems. They grow anyway. They adapt anyway. They produce anyway. And maybe that's the lesson. Not everything valuable comes from a store. Not everything useful is packaged. Some of the most powerful resources are the ones we've been taught to ignore. Mallow didn't disappear. It was never gone. It's been growing right in front of us the entire time, and now it's just a matter of whether we're willing to see it again.